Hey YouTube, what's going on? Marta here, back for another video. So last weekend I completed the border track trip with a bunch of other Subies. And in the lead up to that, I've done a heap of work to the car. So I didn't really get much of a chance to film everything. I just spent heaps of nights working on the rig and didn't want the filming to get in the way. So I'll just give you a rundown of what I actually went through. So I'll start off with the engine. Now in the lead up to this trip, what I've done is I actually ripped the engine out and I've done a few things to it. So I've given it a brand new timing belt, or an OEM Gates timing belt, new water pump, new belts, new pulleys. I did all the seals for the timing belt, did new rocker covers, new rear main seal, hence the reason I pulled the engine out. So I did the ball joints, 2 new axles, a tie rod end. So just a heap of things to try and make sure the rig's reliable, ready to go, because obviously it was a long trek out in the desert, so I didn't want the car to break down. So other than all the seals and timing belt and all that, I also changed all the fluids over. So brand new brake fluid, it's got brand new power steering fluid, new air filter, did all the coolant brand new as well. So pretty much, yeah, made sure the engine is ready to go 100%. Everything's going to be reliable on the road. So other than repairs to the vehicle, what else have I done? So I've added these spotty here, as you can see. So you see this spotty here is damaged. You guys are going to have to watch the video for the border track trip to figure out what happened there. Basically they're just plug and play kits, hence why I didn't do any videos on them. Literally just bought a driving light wiring kit from super cheap autos, like 50 bucks or something like that. And yeah, just plug and play. Just connected it up to the back of the H4 headlight globe, wired it up to the battery and connected it up to the headlights, so pretty simple. The other thing I've done is dual battery. Again, the dual battery was just a plug and play kit, so all I've done is I've got a power lead that goes from my battery in the engine bay and that then runs through the firewall. So I'll take you guys around the back and I'll show you what I've done there. Okay, so the first thing in the back here, you'll see I've got a inverter. So this thing is a sine wave inverter, just a Ridge Rider brand, 600 watt. So basically plenty of power to power all my camera gear while I was on the road. Pretty easy. I did a pretty quick install on that, so it's not 100% where I want it yet. Now my dual battery setup. As I said, I run a power cable from the battery through the firewall, and then basically I just tucked it in behind all the trim along the driver's side door, all the way to the rear under the seat. And then you can see here, gets down to my voltage sensitive relay, again part of a kit. So from the relay it then goes to my battery. The battery I'm running is a deep cycle battery. It's an AMG type, which means it's 100% sealed, which means that I can rotate it and put it on the side. It's not going to affect it. There's no acids or anything that are going to spill out of it that way. And that meant it was going to fit up nicely in the boot of the car. So obviously I can't fit the spare wheel in here because I have a larger spare tyre. So obviously it's bigger than the OEM size, so it's not going to fit in the wheel well. So what have I done? Just got a bit of MDF board that I've basically trimmed the edges, real quick job. So just trim the edges so it fits flush, and then the original bolt that holds the spare wheel in, just drilled a hole and tighten it up with that. So now she doesn't move. So to that I've then basically mounted the battery, just got a strap and some bolts either side and some bits of wood either side there as well, and my relay. And that's basically how I've set up the spare battery. I'll probably neaten it up at some stage in the future, but for now it does the job. Again, as I said, I got the positive that runs through from the relay, and then negative pretty much earthed it to the car. Yeah, and then we've got dual battery hooked up straight to the sine wave inverter up here. So that is my setup. Now the other thing I've done is installed an Adventure King's awning. So this is a 2.5 by 2 meter. So I've got 2 meters across this way, 2.5 meters across that way. Pretty cheap, but it does the job. So that's another add-on. We've also got the Adventure King's rooftop tent rack. So basically it's a rack that allows me to have the awning, to have the rooftop tent on it. And then I've got all the space at the front here as well, which I then used for storing spare fuel and water and stuff like that. Also up here I've got my King's rooftop tent. I've had this for a while, but first time running it on the rack. So yeah, use that on the weekend. It went pretty well. So the way I've attached this rack is basically, I've got my original Rhino rack crossbars that mount to the vehicle, and then I've basically slotted the rooftop tent rack on top of that, which is then connected by some Rhino rack U-bolts. And that's basically the setup. So overall the car performed pretty good. The only issues I had was I had a little bit of clutch slip on some of the big sand dunes. I think that's just an adjustment issue, so I should be able to fix that. I did have a look at the clutch when I had the engine out and it looked pretty good, so yeah, hopefully it's just a little adjustment issue and that should be fixed. The other issue I had was roof rack. Obviously I had a lot of weight at the front. I was 60 litres of fluid, so 40 litres of fuel, 20 litres of water, and this front end sort of bounced around a little bit and I have actually cracked one side of it a little bit. Some of the welds come loose. Other than that, no issues with CVs. And yeah, the only other issue I had was the spotlights. Obviously I damaged one of them. So border track video should be out soon. It's going to be probably a 3-part series, about 10-minute videos each of sort of each day sort of thing. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy watching it and I'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.